Hello, fellow Rosarians. Can you believe it? This is number 20. I have unboxed 20 vendors now. So I've been doing this series so that when you place your orders in the fall, you can make an educated decision and you won't be caught off guard with the overall cost and the size and the quality of the roses. We're going to be finishing up here. I've got this unboxing that we're going to do right now, and I've got one more next week. I don't have another one scheduled until the fall. So I'm actually going to close out the reviews and start focusing on the plants through the rest of the season so that you're ready to go come September when it's time to start ordering these babies. So we'll follow them through the summer and see how they're performing. So today's unboxing comes from South Carolina, and I know many of you are familiar with this vendor. It's Roses Unlimited, and they have a huge variety of roses available. Will you talk to the same person every single time you call? Yes. You're going to talk to either Stephanie or Pat. So when you're using their website, it's not as intuitive as some of the other websites where you just click it and you put it in your cart and you buy it and you're done. This one, you're going to have to look through the listings, see what's available. When you are looking for, on the upper right hand side, it says collections, I think, browse, and so you search by the collections and you'll see all the roses that are available. They also have roses on the front page that may not be included in that list. And if you want to search on English roses, which I know many of you do, scroll all the way to the bottom and there's a search bar there, and if you type English in there, that's how I was able to find a lot of the English varieties. And of course, reach out and call them if there's a specific rose that you're looking for. But when you're ready to go ahead and order, you're going to call them on the phone, or you're going to email them, and they are very responsive. They usually pick up the phone unless it's during their busy season. They're going to pick up the phone right away, and then with emails you get a response sometimes the same day, if not the next day. Is it a small business? Yes. Their business sells own root roses that are certified by the South Carolina Department of Plant Industry at Clemson University. That's a really good reason to order from them also. I am expecting 8 3-quart roses, and so 3-quart is just shy of 1 gallon, and when I reached out to them for clarification, they said that they are going to be potted up in 1 gallon size. So we're going to rank these against our other vendors that we order our 1 gallons from. Let's go ahead and get into this unboxing and see what we've got. Oh, this is a heavy one. Oh, okay. Oh, and I do see over here on the certificate that it's been certified here on the back side. It looks like it got a little mashed. I'm going to put it on the ground to open it, but I'll show you if there's anything that is of note once we get in here. These roses are trying to bust out of this box. Okay, so when I'm opening it, see what I mean about they're trying to bust out of here? I mean, I've got a lot of growth here, so let me lift them out. All right, so I think that there must be 2 in each of these containers because I've got 4 this size. Okay, let me sit this one down. And before we start talking about what variety they are, let's take a look at them. So we've been grading roses, and I've gotten some flack from people that I shouldn't be grading potted roses the same way that we're grading bare root roses. But as I shared with you, I think we need to have a standard, the way to look at these so that you can make your decision in the fall. If I was buying a bare root rose, how would this compare to it? So that's how we're going to go ahead and look at this. So when we look for a bare root rose, we're looking for certain things when we unbox it. We're looking for the canes. Are they green to indicate that they are healthy? If they're starting to flush out, are the leaves that are flushing out healthy? These are. With a bare root rose, we're going to look at that crown and make sure that nothing is soft. If you were to compare apples to apples, a grafted rose that's bare root against a own root rose, same variety, the own root is going to be smaller. Same goes with your potted plants. If it's own root, it's going to be smaller. So we're going to take that into consideration also. So what else are we looking for? If we were able to see the roots and it was a bare root rose, we're going to be looking at those roots to make sure that they're healthy, that there's no gall, that there's no nematode damage. Now, when we think about pots though, we can totally exclude there being a problem with the roots because they've been grown in a greenhouse. They haven't been in a field. And you only experience problems with nematodes and gall, which we all have been concerned about this year, if they're grown in a field. If they're grown in a greenhouse, which this has been, it's got potting soil. It's not going to have nematodes and a gall issue, crown gall. So that's one of the benefits, I think, to buying an own root potted rose, but we'll get into that in later videos, what our preferences are going to be. So let's get back to this now. Being a potted rose, we're still going to look at the same things. Does it look healthy? It is perky. It hasn't gotten dried out in shipment where the leaves would be looking sad. Everything here looks very healthy. In fact, the soil is still moist. I can feel that. They had a bag covering it. So when I look at this, if this were a bare root rose, it has 2 canes, almost the size of a pencil, but having 2 canes almost the size of a pencil would make this similar to what we would expect with a grade 2 bare root rose, but it's potted. I just want you to have that for reference, that's how I would compare apples to apples when you're thinking, should I get a bare root or should I get a potted rose? Souvenir de Louis Amade, and I'll tell you the details on that in a minute. Let's look at the next rose. So this rose here is Giono. My only concern, it is very wobbly in the container, and I don't know if you can see in here, the soil doesn't come up to the top and it's just very wobbly. I'd really like to look at the roots one second so that we have a clear understanding of what we've got here. Okay, so looking at the roots, it has a nice root structure on it. It just is not solid in the soil. I'm not sure why, but we're going to remedy that right away, and I'm going to get these into the ground. Okay, let's open the next one here. So this is Cinco de Mayo. Looking at this one, I'm seeing very healthy leaves. It is flushing out with nice fresh red growth, which tells me it's very healthy and happy. This is a very tall rose, and I have a bloom. Look at that. Let me smell. It smells very nice. So this is Bella di Todi. Bella di Todi, T-O-D-I. This one is very, very full. Madame Figaro, I'm seeing it's very healthy. It's got green leaves. It has more than enough canes. I would call this a grade 1 if it was a bare root rose. So absolutely no issues. I'm very happy with the size of this rose, and it's huge. I mean, look, I can hardly get it in the picture. Okay, looking at this rose, really nice thick canes. I am seeing a black spot on just one set of leaves, so I'm taking that one off right now. Do you see this? So we're going to go ahead and keep that away from the rose. Take out any leaves that have fallen into the rose itself. So we've done a video on defoliating a rose, so if you ever need to do that, don't be afraid. I have one cane that has snapped off in shipment, but I'm not surprised. They're just so tall, but I did lose a length of the rose, but look at it. I mean, it still looks fantastic. I'm not seeing any other black spot now that I've taken off those leaves. It looks very healthy. So let's see, this one is Neptune. Looking at this rose, again, very tall. I have a bud here, so we're going to be able to see that one soon. So then looking at the leaves, it looks like I've got a little bit of black spot starting. Not a big deal. We've caught it very early. So I'm just going to pull these off. So I think that this one looks good, and this one is Violet's Pride. Okay, last one. This one is Poseidon. I've got a little bit of fresh growth here. Oops, it's kind of hard to see. See that? So that's very normal when you see it. I've got a bud that's getting ready to show us its stuff. So all in all, I am very happy. I mean, the roses are large. Let's talk about what I got in detail, and let's talk about the prices, and then you can make the decision if you'd be happy having roses from Roses Unlimited. Okay, so let's talk about Souvenir de Louis Amade. It was created by Delbard, and his light pink flowers have an apricot center. This rose has clusters of large, full, and old-fashioned cupped blossoms. Souvenir de Louis Amade is a bushy 3-foot by 4-foot repeat blooming rose plant, and it's rated excellent by helpmefind.com. Poseidon was created by Cordes. It's pleasantly fragrant. 4-inch blossoms are packed with lovely lavender petals and appear in clusters on highly disease-resistant plants. It has a mild fruity fragrance with 70 to 75 petals, and it blooms and flushes throughout the season. It is, now the dimensions are interesting. It's 3 foot tall by 16 inches. If that's true and not an error, that's a very narrow rose. So that might really help you in your landscape if you're looking for something that's on the narrow side. It's also known as Nivalis. So it has another name. This award winner was named after a German poet who regarded the blue rose as a symbol of love and desire, and it's rated excellent minus by helpmefind.com. Madame Figaro was created by Delbard. It's light pink with moderate anise, fruity lemon rose fragrance. The average diameter is 3.5 inches. So it's a medium to large, very double cupped globular bloom form. It blooms and flushes throughout the season. And now this one's gonna be tough for me because I've told you, I don't have a lot of room for climbers, but I keep on buying them. So this might find its way to an obelisk, but it says it could be 3 foot tall, but in some places it's going to be 8 foot tall and arching. So I'll let you know what it does here in our environment. The width is on the narrow side. It's 2 foot. Cinco de Mayo is bred by Caruth. The color is amazing. The flowers, which hold well, are fast to repeat, are a blend of smoked lavender and rusty red orange, and sit amongst clean, glossy green foliage and dark red new growth. Its round habit is ideal for use as a hedge or in a border with mixed perennials. It's a seedling of Rosa Julia Child. It has a light, sweet fragrance, and it's 3 foot by 3 foot, and it's rated excellent minus. Violet's Pride was created by Bedard, and that's a week's rose. The popular Downton Abbey character Lady Violet, inspired by the iconic shades of Lady Violet's lavender dresses, the rose Violet's Pride is even more exquisite with a magenta-colored heart on the inner petals, dense foliage, resilience from diseases, and a sophisticated grapefruit and fruit-like fragrance worthy of a noble woman. It has a strong fragrance. The flowers are held proudly on top of a vigorous and even rounded bush. It's 4 foot by 4 foot with an average diameter of 3.25 inches. It blooms and flushes throughout the season, and it's rated excellent minus by helpmefind.com. Neptune is a Caruth week's rose. Can an aquatic divinity enjoy fragrance? If so, Neptune would surely be spirited away after one sniff of his very own rose. You'll idolize this big 5-inch blossoms of luscious lavender tinged with just a touch of purple. Certain to garner awards, the abundant blooms arrive on a praiseworthy plant with large glossy green leaves, good vigor, and a strong vitality. It's no myth, just take a whiff. Best bloom size in cooler temps. It's going to be 4 foot by 2 foot, so that's on the narrow side, and it's rated excellent by helpmefind.com. Giono. This is a Mayland rose. It's a yellow blend, clove, spice fragrance, very double bloom, and it blooms and flushes throughout the season. It's going to be 3 by 3, and it's rated good minus by helpmefind.com. Last one. This is the Bella di Todi. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Bella di Todi. It's by Roses Unlimited. So this vendor has created this rose. Deep yellow, apricot shading, lighter outer petals, a strong fragrance, 60 petals, an average diameter of 4 inches. It's cupped, quartered, and rosette bloom form, and it blooms and flushes throughout the season, and there's no rating on helpmefind.com. So let's look at the pricing now. With all of our vendors, we have been racking and stacking them, talking about, you know, how do we make it an even playing ground to rate them against each other, because some offer discounts, there's free shipping. We want to make sure that we take all that into account. And the easiest way for me to do that is to say, if I buy 10 roses from each vendor, what is the overall cost, including any discounts that are offered? If we look at $22 for each rose, I'm going to buy 10 roses, so that's $220. It is going to cost you $6 for every rose you have shipped. 10 roses then at $6 per rose is going to be $60. So if we take $220 and add $60, that is going to be $280, and there's a $5 handling fee, so $285. Oh, and there's a credit card fee too of $5. So I'm assuming everybody's going to pay with credit card, so that is $290 then that you're going to pay. So looking at the rack and stack, of course the most cost effective that we've encountered right now is $185. It was $283 for Palatine's bare root roses, $293 for Rogue Valley, and those are the band roses that are very unique. $293 for Jackson and Perkins, so it's right in there. I think we're ready at this point to also start breaking this out on each of the size roses, so that you'll have a cumulative review of all of the different varieties broken out by size now. So you've got the price ranking no matter what the size. So if we go ahead now and let's look at 1 gallon or larger, we've got $220 is the most cost effective for Chambly roses. Next would be Roses Unlimited, and then Antique Rose Emporium, Bare Roots, and then also the band size, which is the 4 to 5 inch pot. Let's go ahead and look real quick at his planting directions to see if he wants us to harden these in. So he wants you to dig a hole 18 inches deep, remove 8 gallons of soil, and refill that hole with the soil mixture that he's recommending. And in that mixture, he's got gypsum, which I love, compost, peat moss, topsoil, red clay. He wants you to put in red clay. That's interesting. Lime. And so it's interesting, we did an unboxing the other day. Every vendor is going to have their different recommendation, and that's all you can do is take it as a recommendation, because you know your soil and your environment and what your plants need. So one of the other growers that we just unboxed, they said absolutely no compost or manure in the when you dig that hole for that rose. Water every 4 to 5 days for the entire growing season. Wow, okay. I don't typically do that with my roses. I'll water them every other day, I think, when they're first in the ground, and I do that maybe for 2 weeks, and it also depends if it's really hot weather, what the temperature is. So I would do every other day and then start backing it off, because you really want the rose to seek that. You don't want to give it the water and have it sitting there. You want it to have to grow and stretch and look for that water. So you want to see if you can stretch out the amount of time that you are watering. Please get a water meter and be checking your soil so that you can see when it goes dry. You really want, in my experience, for it to go, if they're on the ground, I would say more than a week in between feedings, unless you're in California, because I've been talking to some of those folks and they have to water much more often. And you will become accustomed to what your rose looks like when it's thirsty. Okay, so there's one final note here. They're saying that for the best results, he's saying that you don't have to do this. You can put them in the ground, certainly. But for the best results, they want you to pot these up, step plant it up to a 2-gallon or a 3-gallon container and grow it for several months before putting it into your rose bed. I hope that this video was helpful and that you will be able to make an educated decision in the fall when we are all ordering our roses. If there is anyone else that you are interested in having me review, I'm open for ideas, and I'd like you to comment down below and let me know who you recommend. And if they are closed for ordering this year, I will certainly put them on the list for next year as part of this series of unboxing so that you know what to expect from each grower. I'd like to keep a comprehensive list in case you're looking for, say you're in Canada and you're looking for growers in Canada. I'm going to keep this listing on my Facebook page. I'll go ahead and link that down below in the description. And I'd like for you to send me, if you are in the United States and there's somebody that you'd like me to consider adding to the list, Canada, Europe, anywhere you are, let's just go ahead and put together a full comprehensive list for everybody so that they know where to go and get these babies. Okay, well, thanks for joining me. I hope that you will subscribe and follow us through the summer so that you can see how all of our blooms do, and I'll see you in the next one.